you think about it and you work your whole life and you're chasing this dream, and this is all I've ever wanted to do since I was 3 years old, and walk in and tell my mom I'm going to play in the big leagues. And
All right, well, welcome in Baseball and Coffee. I appreciate it. I know you're starting today. Nice, got the coffee ready. Perfect. I know you're starting
absolutely.
today, so I appreciate a few minutes of your time. Really, there's a couple things I was thinking when I was thinking about you the other day. Number one, you texted me while I was on the set of the Yes Network, and it wasn't so much that I was excited that you were watching that I was doing the post game show where you noticed me. It was more so that I knew where you were. And so immediately I got very, very jealous of the food that you were eating inside the Mets clubhouse that night.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I went in, grabbed my plate and sat down and said, oh, look, it's Otto.
I could
Well-dressed
almost,
man on TV talking about baseball.
I could almost smell it through the television. I was very jealous of that moment.
Yeah, they've been on point lately. We got a lot of the new guys raving about the food here so far. So
Yeah, I mean, for the people in the stream that don't know, the Mets have the best home clubhouse food in the game. Tomas, Natalie, just crushing it. Kelly,
Kelly,
just killing it all day. So it's very hard. That's probably the hardest thing about not playing is not eating that food anymore, honestly. And then the second hardest thing, and the other thing I'm jealous about, is that you're in Chicago right now, and you had an off day yesterday. And obviously, these are huge games coming up, and this is the exciting part of time of the season. Regardless of how we got there, I'm very jealous that you get to be in Wrigley in a big game tonight. But I'm wondering, did you have a show dinner last night?
we did. It was not a big team dinner, but there was a couple of us that went out last night and got a nice meal. I think we went to Gibson's Italia.
Oh,
So
nice.
Gibson's the famous steakhouse here, and then in this area, and then they got a nice little Italian spot that we tried out. So, um, yeah, it was good to get a nice meal and get ready for tonight.
That's like a brother restaurant of the regular Gibson's, the steakhouse.
I think so. That's what it seemed like.
It's cool. You see that a lot nowadays. Like Ocean Prime, Prime. There's like steak. There's fish places that they have like Prime Italian places like
The
that.
quality meats, the quality Italians. Yeah,
Yeah, they hit
you're
all
starting
the
to see
they hit all the
hit all the
going out
genres.
spots. All right, so I'm not going to talk any current events because that's not what I want to do. I want to talk about two main topics for you. Number one, you're 6'6". You're a legitimate 6'6". I'm like listed at 6'5", but I'm really more like 6'4" and a half. And I've always felt like it's a critical moment, like when you start to grow as a pitcher. Like, and then I mean physically grow. Like you have this all of a sudden you have this growth spurt if and when that comes, and yeah, all of a sudden your potential goes from like medium to like crazy high because now your levers are bigger. But it's like really hard to control those levers. As somebody who was able to figure that out and have pretty good command, being 6'6", what was your experience with that like?
Took a long time to figure it out. And I think it was, between seventh and eighth grade is kind of when I hit that big growth spurt, and I grew, I think, almost 10 inches my eighth grade school year.
Damn, that's
So it
early.
was, yeah. So it was like seventh grade team picture, just everyone, boom. Eighth grade summer, whoop, and like just completely stood out. Um, and yeah, I mean, going through the growing pains and body changing and all that, and so it took a while in high school to grow into my body and see where we were at, and it started to come together in college, and then um, yeah, it led me to get into my professional career.
Did you play? Did people try to get you to play basketball all the time?
Yeah, yeah, that was when I got to high school. um, I was definitely pulled out of class and pulled out of different things to see if I wanted to play different sports, and I was getting ready to play basketball when my head coach, Coach Kavnar, Jenny Kavnar's dad,
No way.
um, was like, "Hey, why don't you come work out with the varsity baseball team?" And I was like, "Well, that's the end of all the other sports
Yeah, that's sort of
because I
so.
know exactly where I want to go and where my future's probably going to be." So,
Yeah, that's sort of similar to me. Like I played JV basketball, and what was funny was my growth spurt kind of happened a little later than you. Like it was more like between my sophomore and junior year of high school when I became like when I had like man strength all of a sudden, and like before that I was like tall, thin, skinny, whatever. And I played other sports, but I always felt like I didn't gain that beef. Like I didn't get that beefage needed to play like a real like physical sport like basketball, hockey, football, or anything like that until it was kind of too late, and I was already committed to baseball. So it's interesting how that works. Like, uh, everybody kind of grows at a different time, but I do feel like it's really, really hard, and people don't really understand like how hard it is to harness it. Just like when you're so big, like one day you're five something, the next day you're 6'4", and it's like you know it's like you're like Bambi out there, trying to on the ice skates, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it was tough.
I remember
Yeah, I remember too, like you talk about the weight stuff. It was that was the same thing for me. It was towards the end of high school where I actually started to get into the strength training, and um, that was coming to another level. And then it was like you see guys that were just ready to go freshman year, and you're looking around and it's like these guys are doing something else, whether it's football or basketball, and they just got the weight, got the height. They're locked in and ready to go in high school. And for some people, it takes a little longer.
It's fascinating though because nowadays I see a lot of videos of like 16-year-old kids throwing 98 like at 100 miles an hour, and like it's almost like they figured out how to train earlier so they don't have to cross train. Like they don't get pulled in other directions. They're like no super hyper focused from a young age, but then they just go like full drive line attack, full weighted ball, full pull down attack from a young age, and they end up being like 100-mile-an-hour throwers like way too early, in my opinion. I feel like it's always better to kind of ease into that, but I'm kind of happy that we came in the era that we did because we got pulled in one direction because of results. But I feel like, at least for me, like I didn't really work out in high school, like with weights, really. Like it was all very experimental at that point. It wasn't until I got college that I was introduced to that. So there was no like level of commitment beyond practicing, if that makes sense. So the love of the game wasn't challenged early, which I think is key as well, because you can easily lose it if you're being forced to grind so much. Did you have anything like that? Do you have any experience like that? Like just allowed to be a
Yeah,
kid a little longer?
I think so. I think I was kind of on the end, and I feel like looking back at kind of when I was coming up through high school, I was kind of getting to see both sides of the coin in a way. I was seeing, when I played football my freshman year and we got into weights in the winter, like that was the first time I'd ever really been, or during the season, exposed to a lot of strength training. So that was new. And then towards the end of high school was when, we really started um, training pretty good, and with the Weiss boys and the Schmidt boys and all them. And so, having them as kind of an influence kind of pushed me into taking the strength training more serious. And then it got serious in college, obviously, when you have a strength coach and you have
Yeah.
people dedicated to the program. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was still, even in high school, that's when Perfect Game really, I think, started taking off nationally and the showcases. And so I kind of got to see like the travel ball, and you stick with your team or you stick with your high school or you play for your school. And then you start to see kids just completely, after their season, abandon the team play and just go straight showcase and do all that stuff. So I feel like I had an interesting perspective in those years that I was kind of developing in high school to see kind of both sides of that evolution.
Yeah, you mentioned Walt Weiss and the Weiss boys. A lot of people probably don't know, but you played for Walt in high school, and you grew up knowing Walt Weiss and his family, his boys, out in Denver. And I ended up playing for Walt on the Rockies. Obviously, he was my manager for a little while. He's a bench coach now over for the Braves, and he's super jacked. He's like pound for pound one of the strongest coaches in the league. I'd put him in a cage match championship anytime versus the other coaches across the league. So I also wonder though, because you had a little bit of early exposure to like a guy who made it, right? Like a guy who was a real big leaguer, played a long time. Um, I feel like his advice carries a lot more weight, and I never had that person growing up. Like I had people to shoot for off in the stars, but do you think having him around definitely helped you chase the right things?
Absolutely. I mean, I catch up with him, try and see him every time we play Atlanta. Catch up for a few minutes on the field and just check in. And I'm very grateful for that experience because it is. I have a guy that played um, a long time at a very high level and was awarded for that. And to be able to have him teach us playing the game the right way in high school, it's always something that I've been grateful for and thanked him for because he did. Um, he showed us how to play the game, taught us the way to go about your business the right way, and he was a huge influence for me, especially at the time, kind of coming through high school and then just being able to lean on him if I needed anything in pro ball as well.
Yeah, I think about that a lot now. Like being the guy on the other side of the coin, the guy who actually made it now and played a long time. When I talk to kids now, even my nephew, like I can feel the panic a little bit and like the rush to be, um, that prospect like so fast. And I'm always trying to help them understand and help, especially my nephew, help him understand, that there's a process to this. And it does, you don't get any trophies, you don't get any money, you don't get any payment for being the best player at 15. There's a lot, you got to play the long game a little bit if you want to have a career in baseball. So it's really nice that you got that experience with Walt. I think that's huge. Like that's massive. But switching gears just for a second, because I know I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I have one more fun thing to get into. Being that you grew up in Denver and you watched a lot of Rockies baseball, there was the National League with the pitchers hitting. Do you miss that at all?
Yeah, I do. I think there's part of me as the section inside that's like the baseball purist misses that aspect.
Yeah,
Um, it's funny we're talking about this and Walt and everything. I was sitting in the clubhouse the other day watching MLB Network, and they had Kershaw's no hitter
yeah,
against you guys in Dodger Stadium, and De La Rosa was pitching, and um, happened to watch an at bat of Kershaw facing De La Rosa. And um, I think it's we're far enough away from that rule changing that you don't think about it a whole lot. But at the same time, there is part of it that was fun to do. There's obviously less on your plate as a pitcher now, not hitting, and just focusing on pitching. But when you think about the history of the game and the way we grew up and how many games you watched, and seeing the difference in the two leagues was definitely very interesting. And then seeing guys, American League playing at a National League park in the World Series and whatnot, um, and just throwing a little bit of another wrench in playoff baseball, I thought was fun. So, um, yeah, I feel like it's something that we're kind of past, but every now and then you think about it, and it was cool to watch and be a
yeah.
part of.
We feel very far removed from it now. And I was just hopping over and checking. I was looking at you got the opportunity to hit. So thankfully, at least you got a couple. You got a hit. You got your knock.
Yeah, I got mine. Yeah.
I feel like that's big because I remember in 2021 knowing that it was going away. Every time when I was with Boston, every time we played an interleague game, that the guys got a chance to hit. Most of those guys hadn't had major league hits yet. So it was like this is your only shot. Like all of a sudden the pressure was on. Like you're either gonna get it here or you're not gonna get it. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I'm a relief pitcher, and the reason why I enjoyed it is because there's just more moves made. It's not as good for a starter, but I like the fact that there's more moves made because like it kept me on my toes out there in the bullpen, give guys a chance to pinch hit and things like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your career hit here,
Oh, here we
Joe
go.
Ross. Oh, a little breaking ball in the middle.
Yeah. This is after he hit me in the shin.
You got hit in this game.
This was my most active game. Yeah, and then I think Lindor, next batter, hits a home run to right field, and I was able to just stand there on second base and watch it disappear into the
Oh, that's sick.
stands in Washington. So,
I was just saying this was a
um,
0-1 pitch, so he starts you with a heater down. Ooh, big hack there. Big hack there. And then I don't know. He thought you were on the fastball, so he tried to go to the slider.
there we go.
That's great. I love it. I
That
uh,
one.
I think it's important. Like you got to get one like before it's too late. You know.
You have to. Yeah.
I wonder if there is anything on here with your exit velocity because I've been showing a lot of guys like funny stuff when they have like I have this tool from MLB. So this is the hardest ball you ever hit. 103 off the bat. Did you know that you hit a ball 103? Same game. Oh
That's the
wait.
same one.
Oh, that was 103. The double was 103.
Yeah.
And then this one, let's see this one. Curious on
This
this
one.
one. This isn't out, but this
Oh
is
yeah,
102.
Arietta.
Ooh, two guys on. The swing looks good.
Right at
You
him.
were hitterish. You got a little Nick Kurtz in your swing, you know?
Right at him.
I could
Yeah.
I could see it. Big donkey.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. I kind
It
of
was a
missed
good
it a
run.
little bit. Yeah, it was a good run. My numbers are horrendous. I think I have 2 hits, but I'm like 2 for 27, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great. All right, well, that's kind of it. All I got for you today. I was just gonna keep it really quiet. I wanted to. I know you're pitching tonight. We're definitely rooting for you. Oh, I guess one last thing was you made your debut in 2020 with the no fans, right? Then obviously that
Hmm.
led to 2021. You get that first career hit. Did you feel like it was disappointing to debut with no fans in a way?
In I was just talking with someone about this yesterday, and in the moment, I don't think so. But looking back, it's kind of, the moment I was like, I'm realizing one of my dreams, I'm getting
Yeah.
to debut, play in the big leagues. I'm going to be a big leaguer. That's, and then, you think about it and you work your whole life and you're chasing this dream. And this is all I've ever wanted to do since I was 3 years old. And walk in and tell my mom I'm going to play in the big leagues. And then you get there and you get the call, you're told that it's going to happen, and then no one's there. And it's almost kind of like a bad dream, but at the same time,
So your family couldn't even be there.
no one was there.
That's right. I remember
Just
in the playoffs we had some people like that were
I
in
don't
the
even think they
bubble.
had the cutouts yet because it was like the fifth game of the season. So it
Dude,
was
that's
dressed like a chair night for all 45,000 or whatever it was at Fenway.
yeah, July 28th at Fenway. That's right. Also, it's really eerie in those ballparks too. Um, like in particular, like Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Dodger Stadium. Like I can't imagine. Like when we played, I was on the Yankees in 2020. We played at home in Yankee Stadium. It was super bizarre. Like
Yeah.
that didn't make any sense at all to me.
I mean, Fenway it felt like a haunted house, kind of. Because I had gone there for a game, Yankees Red Sox in the playoffs a year before or 2 years before. I was up there for a wedding, and uh, Alex and I went with another couple to a playoff game just randomly because we were there for the wedding. And then seeing it the next or in 2020, and the halls are empty, it's completely quiet after the games. Like it's eerie, and it was a weird feeling, but glad we got out of that.
I think about it a little bit just in relation to even this year. Like you guys have had the three rookies come up. Obviously, like the crowd's on their side. Like there's been a lot of anticipation and excitement. Like that's a totally different emotional experience in a way. Like you're connecting with a fan base for the first time. You didn't get to do that until the next year. So it's just it's just interesting in the context of this year with the three rookies coming on and how they've been embraced so well. So I don't know, fascinating to talk to you and to find out a little bit about debuting with no people in the stands because I hated it and I had a lot of years in it that time, but I can't imagine that being my first taste of it. Very bizarre, but anyway,
Yeah,
um,
it was rough, but
yeah,
it's still the big leagues. So
that's true. As long as it's the big
and the
leagues.
fans, I mean, that was the thing for me. It was like I was so blind. I was just like, I'm starting my big league career. Like yeah, I mean, it sucks. There's no fans, but I'm getting to start something I've wanted to do my entire life. So, and then you bring fans back, and you obviously get the feel of it, and it becomes more normal. But
Yeah,
weird time.
yeah, that was weird. All right, Petey, I'll let you go. Thanks so much. You're
All
the
right, man.
best. Rooting for you
I
tonight.
appreciate it.
Do your thing,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing it.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Let me end this room. All right, that was David Peterson. Thanks to Petey for joining me. It's tough. I didn't want to ask him too much about the game. We got a lot going on, obviously, in Met World tonight. He's pitching it. When we came up with the day to do this on, I didn't think it was going to be a start day. I thought the Mets might have been a couple games up at this point. We could have a little more fun with him, but at the same time, try to keep it light. Try to have him watch him get a knock there off Joe Ross. That's always fun. So anyway,